I posted an image of a Palestinian and an Israeli, two men embracing each other at Tomorrowland. And I got a couple of comments like this, basically saying that Israelis don't deserve to travel. And I'm asking myself, which Israelis are you talking about? Are you talking about the 2 million Arab Israelis who live in Israel? They don't have the right to travel? Or is it just the Jewish Israelis? They shouldn't have the right to travel. Or the Christian Israelis. And when you see someone that has an Israeli flag, for example, how do you know if they're Jewish? And if you're going to separate the Jewish Israelis from the rest of the Israelis, isn't that anti-Semitic? Who gets to determine who the good Israelis are? And if you think that all Israelis are responsible for what's happening in Gaza, then what are you advocating for exactly? I also have a problem with people refusing to listen to anything coming out of Israel. Why? Are you gonna try to solve a puzzle by taking half of the puzzle pieces and throwing them in the garbage and then wondering why you can't figure out the solution to this puzzle? Would you show up to jury duty only listening to one side of the court case being presented? And if anyone has questions about what's going on in Gaza and your response is you're pro-genocide, you have problems. You need help. There's not one sane person on this planet who would be pro-genocide. And by the way, speaking of genocide, do you know that there's a genocide in Sudan, in South Sudan, in Yemen, in Syria, in China, in Iraq? And in fact, some of the pictures of children that are emaciated coming out of Gaza are actually pictures of children from Yemen. Or, alternatively, some of them are pictures of children with medical conditions like cancer or cerebral palsy. And those images are being distributed to manipulate people into thinking there is a widespread, intentional famine in Gaza. And I just think that if there is such a widespread famine, you shouldn't need to steal pictures from Yemen, and you shouldn't need to take children's pictures who have medical conditions to portray a starvation narrative. Call me crazy. Are there people in Gaza right now who are struggling to get food, to get access to food? Yes. Currently, there's food aid that is piling up inside Gaza. Once the food aid is in Gaza, it's the UN's responsibility to make sure it gets distributed. And they're listing all of these reasons as to why they can't deliver the aid. This is one of the photos that I've seen circulating out of Gaza. And it's a mom holding her child, and the child is very, very, very thin. It's sad. So I'm going to show this to you. And if you don't want to see it, just skip ahead. This is the child that she's holding in her hands. This is the same photo from an Australian article. And if you zoom into this photo, you can see another child to her left and two other children to her right. These other three children are clearly well fed and dressed. So the photographer who took this photo decided to exploit this woman and her child. That child is probably cold because he's skin and bones. And so I doubt that the child is not dressed in normally. So this photographer probably had the mom take the child's clothing away so that he could take a picture and sell this famine when there are three other children within frame who are fed and clothed. That's not weird to anybody? You know what I don't like more than anything in the whole world? Um, Being lied to. When someone lies to my face and tells me and exploits my emotions to push this narrative of something that isn't actually happening, that makes me really angry. You're making me waste time, energy, empathy on a situation that you've created in the media. There was literally an article with a quote calling the people of Gaza walking corpses. And with that quote were pictures. And this was one of the pictures. Do these people look like they're experiencing famine? Like, look at their faces. No one here is experiencing famine. Can they be experiencing hunger? Yes. If I didn't have food for a day or two, I'd be starving. Obviously. But, like, don't take me for an idiot. That's all I'm asking. Today's word is nuance.